Hello and welcome to Cliff Reviews Art House. This time I'm reviewing The Elephant Man, directed by David Lynch. The Elephant Man is Lynch's second film. It's a much more accessible film than his first, Eraserhead, but we know it's a Lynch film right from the start. It has a similar aesthetic to Eraserhead, not just the fact that it's in black and white, but the industrial setting and the surreal opening with the elephants. At the same time, while it does have some of the strange visual sensibility of Eraserhead, it also has a clear, emotionally resonant story. This makes it, along with The Straight Story, one of Lynch's most accessible films. It does have a classical narrative, which is not something that we see in most of Lynch's other work, but we do see unmistakable Lynch textures of industrial grime, dreamlike melancholy and spiritual yearning. There are really strong echoes of Eraserhead here. The black and white cinematography, so rich and sculptural, it evokes a world of smoke, steam and half-lit interiors. The sound design full of mechanical hissing and distant rumblings. It continues Lynch's obsession with industrial horror. But unlike Eraserhead, which collapses into a surrealist nightmare, The Elephant Man finds a solid emotional arc. It is a tragedy, yes, but also unashamedly, it's a film about human dignity. The acting is fantastic. John Hurt delivers an extraordinary performance as John Merrick, conveying deep humanity beyond the heavy prosthetics with minimal, delicate gestures. Anthony Hopkins, Anne Bancroft and John Gielgud all give the film dignity and warmth. The performances are natural and affecting, quite different from the deliberately stylized acting he would pursue in some of his later work. The film is incredibly sentimental at times. Scenes such as John's recital of Psalm 23, his tender reading of Romeo and Juliet with the actress Mrs. Kendall, and the standing ovation he receives at the theatre, these are all designed to stir the emotions, and they succeed. I felt really moved at several points. We do see sentimentality in a lot of Lynch's work, but it's often undercut by surreal rupture, dream collapse, nightmare scenes of the subconscious, the darkness apparently overcoming the light. In The Elephant Man, the light clearly outweighs the dark. It is a film about cruelty, certainly, but it's also a film about the possibility of compassion and grace in a brutal world. The story of how Lynch came to direct The Elephant Man is interesting. Apparently Mel Brooks, after seeing Eraserhead, championed Lynch for the project. You would think Lynch would have been an unlikely choice for a Hollywood blockbuster, but it clearly was a visionary instinct from Brooks. The film hasn't been universally praised. Some have criticised its relatively simple message. It's certainly true that, compared to the existential enigmas of Lynch's later work, the film's message is straightforward. Others have pointed out that the film leans too much into sentimentality, with some scenes bordering on emotional manipulation. I don't agree with these criticisms, however. As with his later film, The Straight Story, I think The Elephant Man is important in understanding Lynch's body of work. Without these two films, it would be easy to caricature Lynch as obsessed only with the surreal, madness, cruelty and nightmares, but I think that they both prove otherwise. They reveal something important. Lynch is not a cynic. I think this really helps in interpreting his darker films. That flicker of compassion, that openness to redemption, it's there even in his bleakest visions. You just have to look harder to find it. I think it also helps in interpreting the blatant sentimentality that exists in some of his darker films. It's never cynical or superficial, it's fully intended. The Elephant Man, alongside The Straight Story, help in confirming that he has a fundamentally positive view of the world. I saw The Elephant Man at the cinema when it came out. I loved it. I had no idea who David Lynch was at the time, but I really enjoyed it. I've also loved it the several times that I've seen it since, and I really enjoyed seeing it again alongside his other works in my David Lynch marathon. It's not his best film. The more surreal works are definitely his best, but The Elephant Man is really enjoyable and an overwhelming emotional experience. authentic, tender and beautifully crafted. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.